Welcome to my presentation on gifts to students or staff, EDL 854, Module 11. Giving gifts is a tricky business when you are talking about spending your school's funds. Like any expenditure, you have to be able to prove that the expense follows your district's purchasing guidelines. Gifts for students are only appropriate when purchased as an incentive for a fundraising event and/or for a special achievement award. If gifts are given as part of a fundraising incentive, that gift should only be given to those students who have participated. So say we have 12 students who are in the 12th grade. Only 7 of those kids participated in a fundraiser. You cannot buy 12 incentive gifts to give. It can only be for those 7 who actually participated. The incentive gifts should be purchased with the funds raised by only that particular student group. So you can't take money out of the athletic fund to buy student incentive or fundraising incentive gifts for the 12th grade. Gifts that are not related to fundraising should not benefit any one group over another. So let's say that the principal has decided she's going to buy every grade in the school happy birthday pencils. Well, she gives every grade in the school happy birthday pencils, but the 4th grade. That would be an example of one group or a large group of students benefiting over another. A special achievement gift is typically given in an award ceremony or banquet, and it's usually an annual event. In this instance, and only in this instance, is an individual, student, or a team allowed to be recognized for achievements or awards over others. This is where gifts or awards are given, and they need to be nominal in value, and they need to make sure they follow your gift-giving guidelines for your district. I showed different pictures here, so you can either get a paper certificate, you might be able to get a medal, there's plaques, you might even get a trophy. The one that's very common is the little metal pens you get when you've lettered in a sports. Funds for this type of an award may be funded by your general fund, donations given to your school, parental groups, or even your athletic fund if it is for an athletic banquet. Gifts to staff members. Special occasion gifts are gifts for births, deaths in your family, marriages, that sort of things. It's usually, in my experience, it's been mostly spent on flowers. Funds for this usually are collected at the beginning of the year before school has started. Whether it's a due or it's a donation, they are ear tagged for this particular purpose. The funds, this fund has a committee that manages the expenditures, and they meet at least once a year to make sure that the funds have been spent and that they're not accruing interest. The fundraising incentives is the same for a staff member as it is for a student. If you are the sponsor for a huge fundraising event and you're deemed worthy of getting a gift, then that gift needs to be paid directly out of the profit for that specific fundraiser before anything else can happen, okay? You can't take that out of another fundraiser profit. It has to come out of that specific fundraiser to purchase the gift for that staff member. For all staff, token gifts can be given at the beginning of the school year or during a teacher appreciation week. Gifts should be nominal in cost and paid for by funds that were collected or donated for that specific purpose. So you should not be paying for token gifts out of the general fund. Staff's generated funds. So if the staff raises funds specifically for the staff, then they can purchase stuff like incentive gifts for the staff. So say we have a bake sale and it's going to benefit the incentive fund, then we're going to have a bake sale and everything it makes is going into the incentive fund. And then when it's time to buy incentive gifts, that fund money can be spent on incentive gifts. If staff is participating in a fundraiser, the percentage of sales of profits that the staff generates may be spent on the staff. So let's say we have a Students Against Staff fundraiser, which we have had that before. We actually did it with Krispy Kreme donuts. So if the staff raises X amount of dollars, And the profit from the staff side of the sales can actually go back into the fundraising that, like the incentive gift fund that the staff has deemed it to go to, versus actually going back to the students if they don't want it to. But if they want it to, it can go to the students, but it doesn't have to. Checks, cash, and gift certificates should not be given to a staff member unless that amount is going to be added to a W-2 for income tax purposes. And this is generally why we don't you do this in a school district, because it ends up becoming taxable income, and it's not really a gift if it becomes taxable income. Staff dinners at restaurants paid by the district's general fund are not an appropriate usage of your funds. I know that I've gone to at least 3 this year that were paid for by the district, and it really, really makes me beg the question, where did these funds come from? And why was the district using general funds to pay for staff dinner? In my opinion, and the last sentence is my opinion, that we need to make sure that we have these dinners optional, so that the staff members know when they do arrive that they should pay for themselves. When we're doing professional developments, if we are not being fed at that professional development, our administrator will come over the intercom and say, hey, it's 11 o'clock. We're all going to meet at such and such restaurant at 12:15. If you would like to join us, please feel free to do so. But in that announcement, the understanding is that if you do come, you are going to pay for yourself. Special efforts for special students or staff members. Funds raised or collected for a staff member or student under special circumstances should always go through your district accounting office. You want to make sure you run everything by your district accounting office before you do it. That way you can make sure that you're following all your district guidelines. And you need to make sure that if you're going to run it through your district, that you understand that if the funds are going to benefit an employee, they become part of that employee's taxable wages. It is a good rule of thumb in this situation to make sure you ask a parent-led organization to raise or collect funds for your district or on the behalf of your district. We did this at my last district. We had, we called it a cancer fund, and we had a silent auction and a pie sale, and the booster club that I was a member of ran the organization and ran the bake sale and the silent auction, and then all the profit was in the name of the disaster relief or the cancer fund, but it was actually the booster club who did this for the school, so the money never touched the school. And what it does is that it saves the school a huge headache and a lot of legal tape, basically, if it goes through a parent-led organization. These funds accounted in your bookkeeping records or by your staff is generally an unwise idea. Again, there's so much red tape when you're putting these funds through a district out to another community member. Like I said, if you're going to do something like this, it is a really good idea to try and get a parent-led organization on board to help you raise and collect funds for your district on the behalf. In my opinion, I think it's the best idea to keep gift giving super simple. If you're going to do incentive gifts for fundraising, see if the actual fundraising company will give the incentive gifts instead of your school paying for them. If you're going to give like award banquet things, keep it as small and nominal as possible. And in my last district, we had the athletic banquet, which was actually funded by a parent-led organization, so that didn't come out of our funds. The only thing that came out of our funds was the actual certificates, as well as the letter pens for the athletes. When you're looking at staff dinners and gifts that go to staff members, I think, again, you need to make sure that your staff knows that you care about them, but you need to make sure also that you are doing what is legal and what is best for your district. Make sure you always keep it simple so you know you're following your district purchasing and district spending guidelines. Thank you.